Okay, it is elevenish for the 9th. I think it's the 9th. I've just got a reply back actually as we speak. So I wanted to get straight into this today. Still got audio from the C920s rather than the Pro 45s via the mixer. Yesterday I updated Wirecast to the latest version from Telestream 4.25, which has totally messed up the mic input for some reason on the channel. What happens is it kind of sounds like it's looping. It picks up some audio that it found from before and just loops around, whereas it worked before. So I really need to roll back to 4.24 because I've got quite an important interview tomorrow with a guy who's well, I'll get onto it in a minute, but it always bugs me a little bit when you upgrade a new version and it breaks something, and these things happen. That mixer's really ancient and temperamental anyway. It worked perfectly well with 4.24 and other versions before that. It does have a problem where it had dropped out. As soon as you get it back in again, it works. Does need replacing. It's another bit of money that I need to find to be able to replace that mixer with a bigger mixer with more channels for the podcasting area and this area that go into the Mac. So a bit annoying. What's more annoying is I've been on the website, been on the contact page, sent all the details through, dug out my serial number and all that. You can't copy and paste from the serial number field. That's annoying. And then I got a message saying that it had broken and the system had failed. But then I've just got a message from support. So I presume the message did go through. It just errored on the site, which is good. At least I don't have to go down that road again. So tomorrow, big interview tomorrow. I feel it's quite a nice interview. I'm interviewing Dave Seaman, the DJ, who has been known as a house DJ god for probably 25 plus years. And why I wanted to interview him is that he's a local Nottingham lad, which I didn't know. And also, he has just done a Kickstarter campaign, a very successful Kickstarter campaign to raise 25,000. As of today, I think he's on 27,000, so he's £2,000 over it. And I want to sort of listen to his story and find out why mixed CDs now. Used to be a very niche market. People used to buy them regularly, obviously digital downloads and all of that sort of stuff. So, be interested to see what he's got to say tomorrow. Shows. I wanted to quickly talk about the shows that we do on Seller 54 because I don't think a lot of people know what we do. We get the question asked quite a lot, and the best way I can explain it is that we're content creators, be it conversations at events or videos or interviews. We love to make stuff, be it projects, products, things that brand advocates can use on the ground to help promote, help build up their e-commerce offering, their website, their brand, print design, all the usual stuff that a web design company, a print design company, and a web production company, all of those things together. We saw a niche probably about 3 or 4 years ago where people were starting to realise they needed video for the web, but they didn't know who to go to, because you go to your web designer, they don't natively do video. One of the staff might have a video DSLR and have an interest in it, so they might end up getting to do it, but there was no dedicated unit to do it, and we realised that there was an opportunity there, so that's what we do. We do shows every week, and I don't know if everybody knows them or sees them, but this one is elevenish. Obviously, we do it at 11 o'clock every day. Try to get it done at 11 o'clock. Sometimes it's later on in the day if I don't get it done. And you can find all the shows on seller54.tv. If you go to the very top of that page, it works on iPad, mobile. Click on shows, and it'll resort everything, and you can get a link to every one of the shows. If you click on that link, it'll take you through to the playlist, the YouTube playlist, and it'll have the latest one in there at the very top of the list, or at least it should. Don't forget that if you want to get updates as soon as the videos are posted, instead of waiting for it, 2 places you can go. You can subscribe on YouTube for it, or you can subscribe to our Google Plus group, which is Seller 54. So just do a search on Google Plus. We also are looking to get the content onto Boxy, the set-top box. iTunes just needs a complete reworking also for the audio side of things. We're building a audio boo channel for Nottingham called NCA, Nottingham Creative Advocates, which is just basically a logo. And if you want to use a logo, if you're an independent creative who is not necessarily working for somebody who wants to have who wants to promote themselves across Nottingham, we're trying to bring together all of those Nottingham Creative Advocates who are not necessarily looking for money or funding or anything like that, but they are just creatives who make stuff and want to share that idea, that vision with other people. We're looking for those people to bring those all together, not to put them in a group, but just to say, you know, here's a free form meeting, gather of people who are creatives, who are people who create stuff for the digital web or otherwise, be it, you know, sort of I don't know, furniture or tapestries or clothing, whatever it may be. Talking about clothing, good segue. The acclimatized jacket, which I absolutely really love. This I picked up at the Gadget Show the other week. It's incredibly strong, but also incredibly warm and super light. Ideal for chucking in the bag. I'm trying to get through to Acclimatize. I sent them a message via their contact form. I met the guy at the Gadget Show, and he gave me his card, and I've got it somewhere. And I sent him an email through. What I would like to do with this guy is to build the third version of the Nomad jacket. I had 2 jackets made locally in Nottingham, but that guy, I tried to get in touch with the guy, sort of seems to have disappeared off the radar. Then he got in touch again, then I haven't seen him again. But it was always going to be a problem to get the jacket made in the way that I wanted, which was lightweight, and you know, it didn't sort of, was not too heavy, and you could wear it without sort of having to take it off because it was too hot, which I found the problem with the other 2. This is the perfect material. In fact, we could do with going a little bit heavier to support no sagging when you've got all the batteries and everything and all the kit that you need on you. Because what I tend to do is when I go on the ground to an event, I take all my stuff in my backpack, get to the hotel or the dorm or the hostel or wherever I'm staying at, take the kit I need for the interviews or the event, put it into my jacket, and then leave the bag in the hotel or wherever. And what I'm thinking for Nottingham is, where I've got a meeting soon to try and get some students on board, and I'm going to brand all of that up for Nottingham Creative Advocates and train those students how to do what I've been doing for the last 7 years. So the jackets would be perfect because, one, the guy wants to work with these new technologies of fabrics. I've been looking for a fabric engineer for ages. I've tried to do some stuff with Future Factory, but it just seemed like I was ticking boxes to get more money from the European Union and not really that much support. It felt very much like I had to give them ideas, which ultimately I felt were just going to be taken and used elsewhere. So yeah, I met a product engineer and he knows his stuff, and so I'm very interested in working with him and theming it all up and tying it all together for the createreporter.tv. Show update. I'm really trying hard to get my Fiverr and people per hour back up and running. I'm going to be asking people for testimonials and just sort of giving me a bit of a boost on people per hour at some point. But I'm going to start a show called 5 Fingers of Fiverr, which is 5 things that I found on Fiverr which I've either used or I'm going to use and that you should look into, because there's great services out there, well priced, fast turnaround, do what they do, do what they need them to do, be it video or audio or graphics or intros, animations, all that stuff. And you can find some amazing people on there who, might not be $5 for what you actually need. It might end up being $20 or $30, but it'd be a lot cheaper than you would normally pay. And it's about the relationship for me. I've got some brilliant people that I can go back to at a drop of a hat and say, you did this for me last time, can you do me another piece of audio? Fiverr was where I got all the graphics done and the audio for the intro for elevenish. I know somebody's asked me that before. Go and have a look on there, some great stuff. I'm going to be starting that show up soon because I know somebody's asked me about that. 2 last things today. What sort of time are we on? 8 minutes. Yeah, I've got a minute and a half. Try and make these into 10 minutes. I'm picking up the second TV mount today for Jack Craggs for their monitor. Their monitor is an interesting one because it's going to go behind their chair and it's going to be back to front. So as you're sitting in the chair having your hair cut, you will sort of see the screen changing and it will start a dialogue about social media and Facebook and conversations there. Finally, I keep having these very interesting conversations in coffee bars about food and pricing and value a lot. It keeps happening a lot, and it's one of the reasons why we're putting the screens out there, is to try and tie some of this information together, start a dialogue, start a group of independents getting together to talk about these things, get these issues hammered out and resolved, and get the local council and other initiatives involved. I overheard a conversation this morning about the prices of potatoes going up. Food is generally going up, the price is going up. I don't necessarily know why. and I don't know why the pricing is going up, where it's coming from, who's dictating the price increases. Is it a distribution problem? Is it a quality of crops problem, which I can see because of the climate issues? I really worry that people don't connect these together. They just see it as something that's gone up in price. You know, there's an extra 50p on a bag of potatoes. You know, why? Where does that come from? And connect the dots to the climate change. Our effects on variety of these things, they all sort of bond together. Yet people just seem to cut out that bit and just say, oh, it's more expensive. But so I think this needs to be an open dialogue between sort of farmers, distribution, world markets, where the potatoes are coming from. Is there a lower crop this year? All of that stuff. Also, the same with beer. I would love to see a beer pricing digital map for the whole of Nottingham. So if you're a startup in Nottingham and you want a really basic project to get started, looking at the pricing point of beer across the city in the same way that you get these petrol watch systems, I think that'd be quite interesting, because I hear a lot of people saying I can go to that pub and get a pint 25 pence cheaper. And what interests me is not necessarily the pricing point, but the loyalty concerns of somebody who's been going to a pub for 10 years and then they have a limit in their mind of how much they want to spend on that pint of beer, and they like the atmosphere, they like the ambience, they like the people in that bar. But there comes a point where if it's 25 pence more expensive and it's changed once and then again within a month, then they feel less invested in it, feel like there's less loyalty there, and then we'll go to another pub and that pub will maybe suffer because of it. I'm really interested as to who's putting the prices up. Is it because the rent? Is it an adjustment just for the whole business? And do we really see the social impact of people who've been going to somewhere for 10 or 15 years and then deciding not to? Anyway, that's it for me today. I'm heading out to Argos to pick this mount up, then coming back to edit some more videos. So I'll catch up with you later.